Hello guys, welcome back to my new video. So in my previous video, I have explained you about EAM overview. So in this video, we are going to configure emergency access management. We are going to create the users and we are going to see the logs and all from the controller user ID. So in my previous video, I think I have stopped here. I just wanted to tell you I have made some changes because most of the IDs were already created. I have mentioned FFID underscore MM. So because of that, I have changed few of the user IDs. And here in the first step that you should do in your plugin system is FFIDs should be created FFID underscore MMBC and FFID underscore SDBC. And these are the FFID users. This user is FF user 1BC and this is FFID FF user 2BC. Okay. And see here I am creating FF users in my plugin systems. This scenario will be only in decentralized system. Okay, if you are using decentralized system, then these FF users should be available, mandatorily be available in your decentralized system. Okay, FF users should be created. This is mandatory when you are using decentralized. Okay, when you are using centralized, where you'll use GRC system, you'll log into GRC system, and from GRC system, you're going to log into your FFID. At that time, if you are using centralized, then you have to create your FF users in your GRC system. In my previous video, I have missed this step, so here I am telling you this. So this is create FF users in FF user 3BC and FF user 2BC. Why I have created these two, I'll show you what's the difference between that. Okay. So there is one user called, this is the different user FF. This user will be available only in my GRC system, and this user FF user 1BC, this user will be available only in my plugin system, and FF user 2BC will be available in both of my systems. Why? Because I'm using both centralized and decentralized. Okay, so this is the changes which I have made from my previous video, uh, and other than that everything remains the same. And these are the three roles which I have given to my FFIDs. Like I'll just open all the things which I have created and I'll just show you. Let me tell you one more thing. These FFIDs should be always of service user types. Service type, okay? But everything remains, all other users will be of dialog users. But here in my video, I have created them as service users only. Why? Because each and every time I can't give change the password because of that. So I'll just start with this FFID MMBC. Okay. So for this FFID, I have created this in my S4 system. Your FFID should be available there. And if I click on display, you can see this. This is my FFID MMBC, and this is of service type. And the rules I have given, this is my default rule, and this is my purchase order maintenance rule, and this is release purchase orders rule. Okay, these are the only two rules which I have given, and this is my default ID. And this one FFID SDBC. Okay, under SDBC I have given same user type as service, and in roles I have given only these two roles. I have not given the default role, which I have maintained in maintain configuration settings. Okay, that I'll tell you why. And this is the next one. Few users I have maintained as FF user, that I'll show you. So I'm telling you once again, this should be of service type only, not this should be of dialog type, not service type. And roles I have maintained, this is my GRAC super user management role. This I have given in my plugin systems. Because of that, in this role, uh, I have maintained these two T codes extra because user has to use these T codes in decentralized system, right? Because of that, I have maintained this T code. They both are same, and I have maintained the authorizations also. Okay. So here I'm using standard roles only. I do not suggest this. Please use just make a copy of these roles and then use those roles. Okay. Uh, and FF user to BC. And this will also I have given a service, make it as dialog. And under roles I have given the same three roles. Okay. And coming to my GRC system, so this is my GRC system, and here this is my owner, FFID owner. Okay, so when I click on this owner, and see here I have given user SAP management, super user management owner. Okay, and for controller, I have given this management, super user management controller. Okay. And admin, this is my ID itself, which I'm going to use to configure everything. And here I have created this ID, this user with these roles. Okay, here you can use GRAC underscore EAM, or if I click on technical details, see, you can either use GRAC underscore EAM or GRAC underscore SPM in your GRC system to execute that emergency access management screen. Okay, so the same thing here for my FF user to BC. I have maintained the same rules. Okay, this is same as this user is common both in my GRC system and in my plugin system. Okay, so once all this is completed, here our main step starts here once user IDs are created. Now I'm going to maintain owners and controllers for FFIDs, access owners in access tab. First you have to add them as owners, right? So let me log in to my, so here you need to go for setup, and here under access control owners, I'll click on create, and this is my FFID owner. So I'll just search for that. This is my FFID owner. If you are using role based, then you can use this FFID role owner. Okay. Uh, so this is my FFID owner BC, and I have selected this checkbox and click on save. The same thing you have to add the controller also. So click on create. You can search for that ID, and you can select this. So FFID, he is my FFID controller, right? So I'm going to scroll down. This is your FFID controller and select that. and click on save. So once this is done, once our access control owners are added, so our fifth step is completed. Okay, this is completed. I'll just mention as C. And now what's the next step is assign owners to FFID. Okay, so this is my owner. You have this emergency access management, same setup, and assign owners to FFIDs and assign firefighters to users. You can do both tasks here. So click on assign here, and in my owner ID tab, select your owner. If you have not maintained the owner in access control owners here, you'll not be able to find those owners here. Okay, so click on go. You'll find all the owners here, but you have to select, search for this and select that. So you can click on add, and when you come for this, see here you have to add your firefighter IDs created. These are my firefighter IDs. Okay. So if you go and select this FFID MMBC, see you can find this no record found for search criteria entered. Why? Because, do you know why? That's because we have not run repository object sync job. See, once FFID and FF users are created in plugin system, run repository object sync job. See, these IDs are created in your GRC system only, that will be automatically synchronized. But for these IDs, you have to run repository object sync job. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go for my GRC system, go to SPRO and click on SAP reference IMG and your access control, synchronization, run repository object sync job. So click on execute. Okay, so now our repository sync job is completed. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just close this, close these two. I'm just going to refresh this screen, and now I'll click on owners again. So these are the few interview questions that you might be facing in your interviews. Like you might ask why FFIDs are not being seen in the in your GRC system, even though if you have created. That's the first one is your repository sync job has not been run. Sorry, this is my owner ID. I'm going to give this owner BC. So once owner is assigned, I'll just click on. So you have to select this and move it here and click on OK and click on add again. So what was your second FFID? This is your second FFID. Now I am going to search that. See, are you able to find that ID? No, right? Do you know why? That's because of, as I told you earlier, for this FFID, I have not maintained the default role. So GRC doesn't know that. GRC will know that this is the FFID only because of that default role. If that default role is assigned here, GRC thinks that, okay, this is my FFID, so I have to show here whenever I search that. Okay. You won't get any other IDs here. If your ID also cannot be found here, you can find only FFIDs here where that default role is maintained. So I'm going to maintain that default role now. So this is the second scenario which you can tell at the time of interview if any of them ask. So now I have maintained this. After this, will you be able to see? No. Why? Because I have to run the synchronization job again. So I have just closed this again, and I'll just go for my GRC system, go back and run this repository object sync again. So once this repository object sync job is done, what you can do, you can just refresh this screen and click on Owners tab. Even the FF users also, if you are not going to run repository object sync job, they'll not pop up. So you check that whether all the synchronization jobs are run properly. If not, you can run them manually based on the approvals uh, in the real time. Okay. So now I'm going to add my owner again. Click on go. So you can select this. This was already available. We just have to confirm with this FFID STBC. Okay. So see now when you give that FFID role, you can see your FFID here. These two are selected. Now you click on OK. Okay. Now click on Save. So now your sixth step has been completed. Now the seventh step is assign FFID to controller. See, this part will be done by owners itself, but here I'm going to show you with my ID itself. Click on controllers. In the same setup tab in the right side, you have to click on controllers. And here you have to click on assign. And what's your controller name? This is your controller name. Click on go and you'll find your controller ID here. Click on OK. So it will automatically be synchronized in your GRC system whenever you create your controller. Okay, and you have to add for this controller, you have to add the FFIDs. See, whenever you add FFID, it is showing the system also. These FFIDs are created in which system. Okay. Now, once this is done, uh, you have this option called notification by, and here you have three options: email, log, workflow, and log display. What does this mean is log display means FFID controller manually have to log into the GRC system and he have to go for this access and reports. He has to go for this reports and analytics tab, and from there he has to fetch the FFID report. You have this emergency access management report. From there, the controller has to manually fetch these FFID reports. If you have selected either email or workflow, what he can do is, if you have selected email, the firefighter ID logs will automatically, with a link, the email will be triggered to the controller. If the email is not triggered, make sure that for controller you have maintained the email ID in your GRC system. Okay, here in GRC system, for controller, email should be maintained if you are going to select email ID there. Okay, if you are selecting, that will be triggered automatically if you are selecting email. And if you are selecting workflow, then you have to maintain MSMP workflow, which I'll be showing in my next video. As of now, I'll be selecting log display. Okay, email I'll not be able to show you because I'll not be able to get the emails. Okay, so I'll be showing you log display and workflow. Workflow means whenever you select workflow, the logs will be sent to your work inbox, so to the controller's work inbox whenever he logs into NWBC. So that once he go there, he can open that thing and he can just review the logs and approve it. Okay, so as of now, I'm selecting log display here and click on save, and the data has been saved. Um, so our FFID controller, the seventh step is completed. The eighth step is assign FFID to firefighters. So for that, you have to go for setup again, and here you have to select firefighters. You can either choose this or choose this, anything. So you have to click on firefighters IDs. So here what you can do, you can click on assign, and here you can select your firefighter ID. What's your ID? So these are our IDs, FFIDs. So I'm going to search for them. So for this FFID, I am going to assign these two users. I'm going to assign this user also. Okay. all the three users. Or else I don't need for the second firefighter ID, I'll assign these two. Let it be 1 and 2 for this firefighter ID, and click on save. And here controller will be automatically popped up, okay, whenever you add this FFID. And I have to maintain the second one. Click on assign, and select your second FFID. Search for that. And here you can add these two. I'll be adding these two firefighter users, okay. I'm going to click on OK, and I'm going to add one more. Okay, I have added two firefighter user IDs. Click on save. Data has been saved, and our 8th step is completed. Now the 9th step is maintain reason codes. This also you can maintain in your NWBC tab only. Here under emergency access management, you have reason codes. These are nothing but the reasons. You can specify the standard reasons why you are going to use this FFID, something like that. And so you can click on create, something like this. And you can mention the T codes also here, or T codes available, anything like that. And click on add. You can add your system. So I'm going to select my S23 system. Click on OK. Click on save. Okay. Now I'll just add one more. Click on add. Select your system. Click on OK. And now our final step is also completed. And if you go and click on this firefighters, see, once if I select save everything here, you will be automatically able to see in this firefighter users also. For this FFID, SDBC is assigned to uh, 3 and 2, and MMBC is assigned to 1 and 2. Okay, so now I am just going to log in with my system. This is my S23 client. Okay, I'll just open once again. And what's my user ID? This is FFID 1BC. Okay, so this is my FF user. Okay, so here I have these two options: EAM Launchpad logon. I can also use slash and slash. This is the same T code which you can see here. I'm just going to open the technical details. See here, this is the same T code. You can either just double click on this. See, now your FFID, this is your FFID. I have assigned FFID MMBC to this ID. Okay, so you can click on log on, log off. You can click on log on as of now, and the status, you can see the status as green. Okay, now if I close this, and I'll be opening this ID in my S23 sandbox. Okay, this is your first FF user. Now I'm going to open my second FF user in my, this is my second FF user. For this user, we have assigned two FFIDs. Because of that, this user is able to see both the FFIDs. As you can see here. See, for FFID SDBC, user 2 is there. For FFID MDBC, user 2 is there. So because of that, this user is able to see both the FFIDs. Now, as I do not have access, this FF user 3BC do not have access in your plugin system, because but he have access in the GRC system. So I am going to log in to the GRC system. Okay, once I log in, if you see these technical details here, these are nothing but the T codes GRAC underscore EAM and GRAC underscore SPM. Both are the same T codes, both work same, and you can just execute. So see here, for this FF user 3, I have assigned SDBC, only this firefighter ID. Because of that, he is able to see only this FFID in the emergency access management tab. Okay, now what I will do, I'll just go and see, this is from my GR system. I'll click on log on all the FFIDs. Okay, now one more thing, one last step is like there is a job called GRAC master data sync. Okay, uh, which is under access control synchronization job, and you can see EAM master data sync. Okay, whenever you complete everything, this job should be run. Okay, so that it fills all the whatever you have filled in your GRC system in your NWBC, everything will be popped up. Okay, so once that is done, now I'm just going to click on log on. This is my GRC system with user ID 3BC. I'm going to click on log on now. So it's going to ask me the reason code. These are the reason codes which I have maintained there. So if I click on cutover activities, I'm just maintaining testing. So here you have to mention the descriptions, and here you have to maintain T codes. Okay, you have to maintain T codes, you have to maintain the description what you are going to do. Okay, and then click on execute. So now you can see this option. This is my FFID underscore BC. So here for FFID underscore BC, uh, this is my S24 system, and here this is SDBC. And for this SDBC, what roles I have assigned is release purchase order and maintain sales orders. Okay, VA01, VA02, VA03, and this one release purchase orders is ME29N. Only these four T codes. This I can use only those four T codes, not other than that. You have logged in with FF user 3, right? If FF user 3 has access to SU01, SU02 as part of his ID, that is not going to work here. Only those roles which are assigned to this FFID SDBC, and which are what T codes are assigned for this FFID underscore SDBC, they can use only those T codes, which is VA01. Okay, and you can execute VA02 and ME29N. See, you can execute only those T codes. And then I'll just now go to my S23 system. This is my S23 system. You can see this, right? This is already logged in, which is FFID SDBC. This is logged in. Now, if I click on refresh here, see this SDBC becomes red, which means, and this logon data tab also, it's not possible to use. It's grayed out. Why? Because it says that someone has already logged in. If you see red there. Okay, so, and I'll just log out from this, and you'll be coming to this GRC system. I have logged out there, and if you click on refresh, it's still red. You have to come and click log off here. Okay, once you click on log off, click on refresh, and here if you click on refresh, you'll be able to see that again, and this will be enabled again. Okay, and similarly for MDBC also, if you click on log on here and give some, see, this is your GRCPI GRIA underscore EM. This is for FF user 2BC. Okay, for 1BC, you'll be able to see only one ID. There are many screens open. Okay, this you have seen, right? Yeah, this is 1BC. So this is your plugin system. You can see only MMBC. So whenever you click on log on, refresh, and T codes you have to maintain, click on OK. Now this FFID user will be logged in. See, this is your FFID MMBC, which is logged in from that ID. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you is you can go for GRC system. You can see this ID, right? As of now, I have logged in to S23 client with FF user 2BC. This ID is available both in my GRC system as well as plugin system. So, whenever I log in into this GRC system, I should be able to see those two IDs again. See, I can see this. I am getting this red because this is already logged in with GRAC one user, FF user 1BC. So because of that, I am getting this red icon here. So here I am going to execute VA02. See, I'm not able to work because for this ff underscore mm, I have assigned role which is mm0 related to mm. So here if I give mm01, I'll be able to execute this. Oh, not sure which role I have given. Let me check. Okay, I have given purchase order maintenance. This is ME21 and ME22. Okay, ME21 N. See, I can execute these T codes ME22N. I can execute only these T codes. Okay, so now once this is completed, I'll click on log off. I'll just close all the things once. I hope you understood till here. If I click on refresh again, this is my FF user 2BC. Okay, at a time, only one user, one FFID can be logged in, not more than that. Why you have to give FFID as service user ID? That's because whenever you click on log on, it should automatically log on. It should not go and ask password. If you give dialog users and all, it will be asking for password. Because of that, this should be a service user. So now, once your activity is completed, now our FFID controller, he has to log into the system and he has to fetch the log reports. Okay. So he is my controller and I'll be logging with his ID. Okay, so he will be having access to this reports and analytics tab. So the particular controller usually comes to this ID and he can click on this consolidated log report. Okay. So once he clicks on this, usually in your interviews and all, like you'll be there will be a question called on emergency access management, like what are the different kinds of reports available in emergency access management. At that time you can tell all these reports. Okay, you can go and check what's all inside in this, and they might ask you what are the different types of logs in emergency access management. Okay, different types of logs. Okay, actually there are five types of logs, five types, and one is transaction log, and the next one is change log, and the next one is system log, and security audit log, and then OS command log. Okay, so this transaction log usually comes from a T code called stad, and change log will be, I think you might already know, cd pos and cd hdr. Okay, so in cd hdr, you'll be getting the header details, and using that you can go to cd pos table, and you can get the line item details. Okay, and system log is SM21, and then security audit log, you'll be having SM20, which you already know. And in OS command log, you can like this will be taken mainly from SM49 and SM59. Okay, for all these types of log in GRC, you should maintain the configuration parameters as yes. Okay, so here in GRC, uh, maintain configuration settings. So here you can see, right, I have maintained retrieve change log and all as yes. So you have to maintain this yes, so that all these kinds of log under consolidation log report. See, you can see all these different types of logs. Okay, so now I'm going to select my system. Okay, this is my system, and here actually I'm showing you, here you'll not be able to get the report. I'll tell you why. And here you are going to select the FFIDs. Okay, FFID underscore mm. So you are going to select both of your FFIDs. You can select, you can add one more thing, and you can select your FFID, write your FFID also here. But usually in most of the scenarios, if they have given log display, security team or the GRC team usually fetches the logs according weekly report. Like usually they fetch the report from 20 to 27, Saturday to Saturday. And then they'll send this report to the controller. Okay, instead of giving controller the access, like they are just going to maintain there, and they are going to fetch the report, and they'll extract it to Excel, and they'll be sharing that report to controller. Okay, or else controller only will log into this GRC, and he will be fetching the report. Okay, so once he gives this, and he is going to, you can select anything. If you are having a firefighter name, you can give that name also, FF user 1BC, which I have created. So usually, as I told you, whenever they are covering for weekly report, they just set the dates, like is between, they just set the dates, and what they'll do, they'll give star everywhere. Okay, so on that particular week, what are the firefighter IDs which are used? Okay, but here if I select run in foreground, I'm going to get no record found. That's because in my S4 system, in this system, these locks are not enabled, which I have told you these locks, right? Transaction log, change log, system log, security audit log. These are not enabled. Because of that, I'm not going to get that those logs here. But if I want to show you any other kind of log, I can show you that. Since this is a practice system, these logs will not be enabled because it takes more memory space, because most of the users will be using the systems, right? So because of that, they'll not be enabling this. And here in firefighter ID, I can get this report. I think, let me try that. So here I am going to select the system. This just gives the login details, okay? And run in foreground. See. This is my firefighter ID. This is the time 28/9 and it is 1940, and reason code why I have logged in. This is 1832. This is the reason code why I have logged in. I use this, right? I mentioned everything here when I was logging in. So all these details will be fetched here. Okay, but this will not be fetched. That's because I don't have any locks enabled in my S4 HANA system, in my plugin system. But you have to be sure that what kind of data you'll get here. So you'll be getting the firefighter ID, the system, the firefighter user who used that firefighter ID, and when did he use that, the reason code, who is the owner of that firefighter, and the transaction which that particular firefighter ID has used, and the terminal description and the table name if you has used any table, and the field name, field text, change type, if he has changed anything. So these kind of values and the reason code descriptions, the program which is assigned to, if he is using any program, then that program also will be fetched here. So all these kinds of details you'll be able to get in your consolidated log report. Okay. So this is my S4 HANA system. So here if I go for SM20 and see if I give client as 100 and user as FFID underscore MMBC. Okay. So if I select, see, I get no log entries exist because these logs are not configured here. They have to configure using SM19. They are not enabled. Okay, because of that, yeah, I'll not be getting any of the locks, and even you can see in stad also if you want. If I see no records found, because of this I'm not getting any of the logs here in my consolidated log report. Okay, so whenever the user uses the FFID, you know that I have already mentioned these are the two programs which will be scheduled in background under synchronization jobs. So these are the two programs, firefighter ID log sync and workflow sync. These two jobs will be scheduled in background, like for every 2 hours this job firefighter ID log sync will be scheduled. Okay, uh, and then the logs will be fetched. So this is how you need to use, you can configure emergency access management. And in my next video, I'll be explaining you about the how to raise a request. See, as of now, in my let me log off with this controller. Thing I wanted to show you is like if you go for this setup and here you have firefighters, right? So if you click on the firefighters, after assigning the firefighter ID to firefighters, see here it has automatically taken the default valid from and valid to date. I have assigned today and it's valid till 30th. Okay, which means it's for 2 days, right? 28 to 30 is 2 days. That's why, because in my configuration parameters, configuration settings here under 4001, I have maintained default firefighter validity period days as 2. So because of that, it has automatically taken the valid to date as 2. Here, this you can also change it. If you want to change, if the owner will be extending that, owner will log into his screen and he can change the particular dates here. Okay. Usually owner will, if he wants to extend the firefighter ID, then he'll be extending it. This is how you need to configure FFID. And in my next videos, I'll be showing you. As of now, this is I have assigned firefighters to the users directly. In my next video, I'll be showing you like how this can be assigned via MSMP workflow, and also I'll be showing you like for the controller, you have seen the email and workflow, right? I'll be showing you the concept of workflow, how that can be used, and whenever you use workflow, how those log reports will be added in your work inbox, in the controller's work inbox. Okay, kindly like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you in my next video. Thank you.